This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute professional medical advice. Please consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare specialist before starting any new vitamins or supplements mentioned in this video. Use of this information is at your own risk. Look at your hands. Truly look at them for a moment. Are they the same hands that once gripped a steering wheel with effortless strength, lifted heavy boxes without a second thought, or held a child with ironclad certainty? For many of us, the answer is a quiet, stinging no. If you have crossed the threshold of 60, there is a silent, invisible predator living within your very fibers, working under the cover of darkness to dismantle the foundation of your life. It doesn't arrive with a scream or a sudden fever. Instead, it is a systematic erasure of who you are. This is the white death of the human body. It is the quiet, relentless vanishing of your muscle mass, and by the time most people realize it is happening, they have already lost nearly a third of their biological engine. You might have been told that this is just the price of a long life, that it is just getting old, but that is a dangerous, hollow lie. What you are experiencing is not a natural sunset. It is an aggressive, cellular eviction. Imagine your body as a house where the very walls are slowly turning into smoke. Every single morning you wake up, a tiny vital piece of your ability to stand, to walk, and to embrace the people you love is being stolen. Welcome to Eldra Fit Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. We are here because the world has ignored the crisis of the aging body for far too long. The mainstream advice tells you to accept the decline, to buy the walker, and to slow down. But slowing down is exactly how the predator wins. If you do not grasp the mechanics of this theft right now, you are essentially signing away your independence and your dignity. You are choosing a future defined by wheelchairs, the fear of a slippery floor, and the heartbreaking reality of needing a stranger to help you out of a chair. This isn't about the vanity of looking fit in a mirror. It is about the raw survival of your autonomy. The muscle you lose today is the freedom you forfeit tomorrow. It is a terrifying realization to think that your own body is becoming a cage, but facing this dark truth is the only way to stop the meltdown. The strength you are losing is not just physical. It is the weight of your legacy and your ability to live on your own terms. Before we dive into the deep, dark science of how to stop this vanishing act and reclaim what is rightfully yours, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Your support is the vital fuel that allows us to continue bringing these critical, research-backed insights to light, ensuring that no one has to face the aging process in total darkness. Now, I want you to pause and reflect on your own journey, as this answer will define your path forward. Which of these prospects weighs more heavily on your heart? The fear of losing the physical strength to walk and explore the world on your own, or B, the fear of becoming a physical burden to the people you love most? Please type A or B in the comments below. Your answer reveals exactly why we must fight this silent meltdown together. Now that we have confronted the grim reality of the vanishing muscle, we must investigate the question that haunts every person who has ever tried to stay active in their later years. Why is it that you can eat the same meals and perform the same movements as a 30-year-old, yet your body refuses to respond? This is the great cellular betrayal. It is a phenomenon known in the scientific community as anabolic resistance, and it is the primary reason your efforts often feel like shouting into a void. In your youth, your muscles were like eager sponges, soaking up every gram of protein and every stimulus from exercise to grow stronger and more resilient. But after 60, the biological doors to those cells begin to rust shut. Your body effectively stops hearing the chemical signals that command it to build and repair. You are consuming the nutrients, but you are not nourishing the muscle. You are moving your limbs, but the muscle fibers are not listening to the call to strengthen. This resistance creates a tragic, exhausting paradox where you are forced to work twice as hard just to stay in the same place, while the white death continues its erasure in the shadows. But the betrayal goes even deeper than a lack of communication. Deep within your muscle tissues, a microscopic fire is raging, and it is burning through your vitality. We call this oxidative stress. Think of it as a biological rust that corrodes your internal machinery from the inside out. This overwhelming imbalance between damaging free radicals and your body's fading antioxidant defenses specifically targets your fast twitch fibers, the elite emergency responders of your muscular system. These are the fibers that allow you to catch your balance when you trip, to climb a steep flight of stairs, or to move with sudden speed to avoid a fall. When oxidative stress wins the battle, these fibers don't just weaken. They are literally replaced by useless white fat and stiff, non-functional connective tissue. You look in the mirror, and you might see the same silhouette, but the high-performance engine under the hood has been replaced with straw and debris. It is a profound loss of structural quality, a rot that standard exercise alone cannot fix if the internal environment remains toxic. This is why just walking more or eating more is often a failing strategy. If your internal signaling is broken and your cells are on fire, more activity is simply more wear on a failing system. We must understand that the aging muscle is a high-maintenance, sophisticated machine that requires a very specific, very precise biochemical key to unlock its potential once again. It is no longer about the sheer quantity of your effort, but the biological intelligence of your intervention. We are fighting a war on two distinct fronts: a battle against the silence of our own cells and a struggle against the corrosive fire of oxidation. If we do not change the strategy and address these hidden mechanisms, the final chapter of our physical story is already being written in the steady atrophy of our limbs. To navigate the betrayal of anabolic resistance and the fire of oxidative stress, we must reach for a very specific biochemical key, a golden trio of nutrients that work not as isolated supplements, but as a symphony of restoration. At the heart of this restoration is the amino acid leucine. In your younger years, almost any protein source would trigger growth, but after 60, your muscles require a concentrated on switch. Leucine is that switch. Without a high enough threshold of this specific amino acid, the protein you eat is essentially invisible to your muscles. It passes through your system without ever triggering the construction of a single new fiber. You are not just eating for hunger anymore. You are eating for signaling. By ensuring your intake hits that critical leucine threshold, you are forcing the rusted doors of your cells to swing open, demanding that your body once again prioritize the building of strength over the complacency of decay. However, even with the switch turned on, the command center of your muscular system must be functional, and this is where the interplay of vitamin D3 and K2 becomes non-negotiable. For decades, we were told these were merely bone vitamins, but we now know that your muscle tissues are densely packed with vitamin D receptors. When these levels are low, as they almost universally are in the senior population, your muscles lose their structural integrity and their ability to contract with power. But D3 cannot work alone in an aging body. It requires K2 to act as the master navigator, ensuring that the calcium mobilized by D3 goes into your bones and muscles rather than calcifying your arteries. This duo is the difference between a muscle that is brittle and a muscle that is resilient. Finally, we must address the internal energy production that fuels every movement, which brings us to the quiet power of magnesium. Magnesium is the essential cofactor for ATP, the very currency of energy in the human body. Without it, your muscles are like a high-performance car with an empty fuel tank. Beyond energy, it governs the delicate neurological dance of contraction and relaxation, preventing the agonizing cramps and tremors that signal a failing neuromuscular connection. But we must be precise. We are not looking for a generic mineral, but for forms like magnesium glycinate that respect the sensitivity of the aging digestive tract while offering maximum bioavailability. This trio, leucine, D3 plus K2, and high-quality magnesium, represents the structural bridge back to a life of movement, providing the raw biological intelligence your body needs to stop the meltdown and begin the difficult, beautiful process of rebuilding. Yet there is a dark side to this journey of recovery, a landscape filled with deceptive promises and marketing traps that can turn your attempt at health into a metabolic disaster. Many of the products specifically labeled for senior nutrition are in reality wolves in sheep's clothing. When you reach for a mass-marketed protein shake or a meal replacement designed for the elderly, you are often consuming a cocktail of hidden inflammatory agents. The most common offender is maltodextrin and other high glycemic sugars used to improve flavor and texture. For a body over 60, these sugars are poison. They trigger a massive insulin spike that doesn't just promote fat storage, it actively accelerates the very white death we are trying to stop by worsening insulin resistance and fueling the fire of systemic inflammation. You think you are building muscle, but the 30 grams of sugar hidden in that healthy drink are actually melting your fibers away from the inside out, leaving you weaker and more metabolically broken than before. This betrayal extends into the world of mineral supplementation, where the most common and cheapest form of magnesium, magnesium oxide, is widely sold to unsuspecting seniors. This form has an absorption rate so low that it is effectively useless for muscle repair, serving instead as little more than a harsh laxative. Taking the wrong form of these nutrients is not just a waste of money, it is a waste of precious time. While your digestive system struggles with poor quality ingredients, the window of opportunity to save your independence is steadily closing. Furthermore, many generic protein supplements are loaded with artificial thickeners and proprietary blends that hide the fact that they lack the critical leucine threshold we discussed earlier. You are filling your stomach with bulk, but starving your cells of the specific signals they need to survive. To succeed, you must become a vigilant guardian of what crosses your lips. You must reject the convenience of brightly colored labels and demand the purity of active forms like magnesium glycinate and P5P. Every time you choose a cheap, sugar-laden supplement over a high-quality, biologically active nutrient, you are choosing the predator over the cure. The cost of this mistake is not measured in dollars, but in the steady, avoidable loss of your ability to move, to thrive, and to live without fear. As we reach the final frontier of reclaiming your physical destiny, we must uncover a hidden weapon that has been unfairly gatekept by the world of elite athletics: creatine monohydrate. For too long, you have been told that this is a supplement for the young, the vain, and the hypermuscular. This is a profound and costly misconception. For those over 60, creatine is not about building a physique for the stage. It is about providing the ultimate survival fuel for your aging cells. Modern clinical research reveals that creatine acts as a biological backup generator, providing the immediate energy required for your muscles to execute sudden, powerful movements, the very movements that prevent a fall and save your independence. But its brilliance extends beyond the limbs. It is a profound cognitive guardian, supporting brain energy metabolism and protecting against the mental fog that often accompanies physical decline. To turn this knowledge into a fortress of strength, your action plan must be precise and uncompromising. The journey begins with a return to high-quality, whole food foundations. Prioritize lean beef and egg whites, not just as meals, but as your primary sources of high leucine protein. Integrate 3 to 5 grams of pure creatine monohydrate into your daily routine. It is tasteless, effective, and perhaps the single most studied intervention for maintaining muscle quality in the later years. Simultaneously, you must act as your own advocate by demanding a specialized blood panel to check your vitamin D levels. Do not settle for normal ranges. Aim for optimal levels that allow your muscle receptors to thrive. This is your blueprint for restoration. It is the bridge that carries you away from the white death of atrophy and toward a future where your body remains a reliable, powerful vessel for your spirit. The meltdown stops the moment you decide to provide your cells with the elite fuel they have been starving for. This journey we have taken together is about much more than biological markers or nutrient densities. It is a confrontation with the most fundamental fear of the human experience: the fear of becoming a ghost in one's own life. We have explored the silent vanishing of your strength, the betrayal of your own cells through anabolic resistance, and the deceptive traps of a supplement industry that often prioritizes profit over your well-being. But through this darkness, a clear path has emerged. The preservation of your muscle mass is, in every sense, the preservation of your dignity. Your muscles are the physical manifestation of your will to exist in the world, to participate in the lives of your grandchildren, and to walk through the world without the constant underlying hum of vulnerability. The profound lesson to be drawn from this is that aging is not a passive surrender, but an active, strategic defense. We are taught to believe that our bodies are clocks winding down, yet science shows they are actually dynamic ecosystems capable of remarkable repair if given the correct, high intelligence inputs. The greatest wealth you possess is not in your bank account, but in the structural integrity of your limbs and the clarity of your neuromuscular signals. To apply this to your life today, you must start with a radical audit of your environment. Clear your pantry of the sugar-laden senior shakes that fuel inflammation. Commit to the leucine threshold in every single meal. Most importantly, shift your mindset from slowing down to powering up. Start small, perhaps a few extra steps or a slightly heavier lift, but do it with the absolute certainty that you are reclaiming territory that the years tried to steal. Your independence is a flame that must be tended to every single day with the right fuel and the right fire. As we conclude this chapter of our journey, I would love to hear your perspective to help others who are navigating this same path. Have you noticed a difference in how your body responds to exercise or certain foods as you have gotten older? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below so we can all learn from each other's wisdom. And if you found this information valuable, please subscribe to EldraFit Nutrition. Your support gives us the motivation to keep researching and creating deep dive content that empowers you to live your strongest, most vibrant life.